Good job, James.
I
would say welcome
Kombat
to a bloody bowl of Dutsu, but we did that already.
Ew,
the penny
gross.
tasting one. So this one tastes like cartilage. It's chewy.
Bloody
Chewy.
Yeah, sinewy.
It's like bone marrow. You can use when you can just use the bones of animals to
Wait,
make
no.
soup.
Bone marrow has a lot of flavor. That's why they use it.
Bone marrow.
What about pennies?
And you can
What
butter
happened?
your bread with it. It tastes like butter.
It is. It's good.
Hey, so if you ever eat pho and you get that one big chunk of something that just tastes like tapioca, that's what this tastes like. Cartilage. Delicious.
Grand.
We've got another Black Ops.
Oh, I can't believe it. Did you guys expect another Call of Duty Black Ops?
Yes.
I thought they were going to do World at War II.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you actually really think that?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
Definitely
no,
Black
There's
Ops
always
3.
Black Ops. Yeah.
People just said that so they could like be, no, I remember that one. That's a weird thing that people do.
I love how Call of Duty could do anything they wanted.
Yeah, pretty much.
matter.
They could do anything they wanted,
Could they?
but they still, it's now we're on Black Ops 3,
Doesn't matter.
Advanced Warfare.
Black Ops 2 was the best-selling Call of Duty of all time.
It was?
Yes.
Or was Modern Warfare 3?
No, it was... Modern Warfare 3 was the fastest selling, but I think ultimately in terms of units...
Black Ops 2? Well,
yeah,
Black
I'm
Ops 2
pretty
was
sure
a
it's
better
Black
game.
Ops 2.
It was a better game, though.
Yeah.
Boom. Boom, gotcha.
So I mean, imagine Treyarch going, we want to call it something else, and Activision said, no.
Shut up.
I know, that's
You're
why it's
making
funny.
Black Ops.
I'm pretty sure that's how that conversation went.
Well...
We've already tried Ghost and Advanced Warfare. We're going back to black, is what an executive said as he pulled out a guitar
That's what
and started wailing
That's
on
what they
it.
said in Black Ops 2.
And they said also we're bringing back Guitar Hero and Tony Hawk.
Well, Advanced Warfare sold better than Ghosts, I'm pretty sure, or will. I know that.
Activision
I don't know.
probably would have said that.
Well, I think that eventually they will, because Ghosts obviously has had a whole year on it, but Ghosts sold terribly, and Advanced Warfare sold better in terms of launch.
Well, so just to put it in perspective, Ghost sold very well.
Well, yes,
It just-
comparatively
yeah,
speaking.
yeah,
but in
yeah.
terms of Call of Duty games, it sold the worst.
I mean, in business, it's not really about how you perform; it's how you're tracking versus
Yeah.
how you did last time.
Right.
And up until Black Ops 2, Call of Duty had sold more and more every year, and there was always a press release to accompany that. Now we have to go off assumptions a little bit, and I think the fact that Activision didn't put out specific sales numbers is a little telling, but that annual press release didn't really hit. So it seems like Call of Duty's on the decline, which doesn't mean it's not still the world's most popular console shooter, because it is. It's just not selling as much as it used to.
Yeah, it only sold 28 million copies or something like that.
Basically.
It's ridiculous.
Well, it's still the world's most popular franchise,
Well,
other than GTA, right?
we
League of
were
Legends.
we were talking about this too.
franchise.
Well, there was the press release that came out recently for Tomb Raider that said the latest Tomb Raider sold what 8.5 million units.
Yeah.
But we've seen those sales where it goes on sale for like $5. So it's a little misleading, but it also apparently sold more copies than any of the other Tomb Raiders, right? Something like that.
It did.
And every time you talk to IDOS about it, they cry a little bit and they're like, "Oh, it didn't
Well,
do
but
that."
also,
right.
how often do you see Call of Duty discounted $20 to
that
$10?
that was my
very rare.
That's the point I was getting at is when that game sells 28 million, it's usually at full price. It
Yeah.
rarely goes on sale.
So there, when it comes to Black Ops 3, there's some interesting bits. I mean, obviously we don't have all the details yet because it's still on this weird, like we're still teasing it and being coy period. But the timeline basically was T. Martin uploaded the Back in Black teaser. This was following some hints from the guy who voices Sergeant Woods.
The Snapchat.
Yeah, there
hints
was
and stuff.
Snapchat logos inserted into Black Ops 2
description
maps,
stuff.
description things. Then we got a full teaser, which, first of all, I think it's worthy of commenting on the fact that Activision trusted their big reveal to a YouTuber.
Yeah,
I thought they gave it to a few channels. Am I wrong?
They did. It was. I mean, it hit T. Martin first, and we were
I-
trying to figure out. I mean, and actually, T. Martin's a friend of ours. We were trying to figure out if that was on
Yeah.
purpose or on accident. If T. Martin uploaded
I guess
it first.
I feel bad as an internet's journalist because I don't care.
Are you a journalist, though?
I don't know. I mean, I was like, oh, the teaser went up. All right, hit me up when there's some gameplay. Like,
Oh, yeah.
surprise, surprise, another Call of Duty. I'll wait till the NBA Finals when they'll show another. They'll show the actual trailer.
Yeah.
We'll see some gameplay and it'll be a lot of cinematics of things blowing up, and Frank Woods will like give you a thumbs up at the end.
Yeah. You're a good American boy.
X press X. Oh.
No, you missed it.
I
Oh, wait,
didn't.
no, you got it. Good job, Adam.
I know how to play video games.
QTEs, baby.
Yeah.
So
We're playing some Black Ops.
the only real Black Ops details we have right now are from like the metadata of the teaser website that went up. Basically, here we go. Are you ready for this? Quote, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 deploys players into a dark, twisted future where a new breed of Black Ops soldier emerges and the lines are blurred between our own humanity and the technology we created to stay ahead.
Finally, we get to live through that scenario again for the first time.
Well, Yeah. In a world where cutting-edge military robotics define warfare, with 3 unique game modes, campaign, multiplayer, and zombies, providing fans with the deepest and most ambitious Call of Duty ever.
Is this just the Advanced Warfare press release?
Yeah, that's the thing. It kind of copy and paste at a certain point.
A little bit. Like play as Tony Hawk as the Guitar Hero chooses you.
Hold on, if you read into that a little more,
Yeah.
I think it's more of like a cyborgish Deus Ex thing.
Yeah,
And that's what people are hinted like on the internet. People are saying, oh, it's going to be like a cyborg Deus Ex thing. That's what it sounds like to me. It's going to be like, you know, robot parts and stuff like that, which they haven't done yet in Call of Duty. So
Robot parts? What are you talking about? Like,
well, they had exosuits.
but those weren't like, you know, integrated into your body.
you're saying man meets machine?
I'm saying Deus
Oops.
Ex, yeah.
How is this going to change the fact that you are basically running around first-person shooting a gun?
Hold on, you might have a sweet robot arm.
It's not suddenly going to become a action RPG.
Oh, wait, you had a robot arm in Advanced Warfare.
I was thinking
with
that.
inventory management and stuff.
Well, I
Would
don't
that
know,
be cool,
like.
though?
It would, but they're not going to do that.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's going to change the formula up a little bit, it's going to be Treyarch, because they did the branching storyline in Black Ops 2, which I don't know how much of a difference it really made, because I played through it once and went, that was cool.
You know, when I was playing it the first time, I really tried to pay attention to that stuff, and I kind of want to get into a Call of Duty or Black Ops 2 discussion in a second here. But yeah, it's like you would get to the end of the level, you'd see the little orange boxes saying like, Woods saw that you had a pocket protector on, and you're like,
Yeah.
cool. And then maybe five levels later, he's like, hey, I like that protector.
Yeah.
Video games, we did it. So it's possible that there was a lot of variation that I just didn't notice. But then again, also the plot of Black Ops 2 was so, I don't want to say bad, but I think it was like a movie script crammed into a game, which means all the exposition happened in 5-minute bursts that were 2 hours apart. And I didn't remember anything. There was like the Noriega dude.
But that's what Call of Duty always was.
Well, sort of. Advanced Warfare had a pretty digestible story.
Oh, I did, but I mean, it was the same thing. You played through a level, and then at the very end, it was like,
Sure.
and then we did this, and it was cool. But then there's this, and
Yeah.
you went to it.
I just think Black Ops 2 was a little hyper complicated for the way it delivered story. Because you played in like 3 different time periods with multiple different characters, and it was, at a certain point, I couldn't keep track of who was who anymore. Aside from that, I'm the good guy, and I have to shoot the bad men with good bullets.
But you played as Avatar's Steve Winston or whatever.
See, I don't even know who that is.
Sam
Avatar C. Winston!
That is another thing. It feels like every single time a new Call of Duty comes out, they're like, and we got him.
We got him.
And they list some actor's name, and we're like, with the exception of Kevin Spacey,
Yeah.
it's been, and we got him.
Well,
and it's like, who?
Hold on, you know what? That's probably gonna be a big reveal for Black Ops 3, I would assume.
You're right.
Really?
Kevin Spacey's back?
Kevin Spacey's back, and now he's a robot.
Robot Spacey.
Yeah, Robot Spacey. I mean, they have to top Kevin Spacey, right?
Absolutely.
Can you top Kevin Spacey?
Yes.
Who can we think of right
Arnold?
now? That
Spacey?
Spacey.
Oh, Arnold Spacey, his younger cousin who has no acting experience.
Well, every time, too, they're like, we got the writer from Crash. Or like, Crash was kind of pretentious and up its own ass. Whatever, let's check it out.
Call of Duty.
Yeah. And then I think like they're like Trent Reznor did a song, we think. Or like
Yeah, nobody actually knows.
I don't. It's like it's all very confusing.
What if they brought Heath Ledger back from the dead?
What?
Sure.
That would be top.
That would be
Zombies.
Though Jared Leto's Joker is looking pretty cool, so I don't know.
You're not allowed to like that, Adam. We're on the internet.
I think also.
What makes you say that?
How do
That
you do
one
the,
blurry photo?
Yeah. I'm just saying they're
I
alluding.
hate internet hype.
No, I'm just saying at least they're alluding to the Killing Joke, which I'm like, okay, cool.
He took a picture with a camera.
All right, this isn't
He's-
the Batman
he's
podcast.
recreating
We're talking about
the
Call of
Killing
Duty.
Joke.
We're talking about Call of Duty.
So here's another talking point that you guys are kind of alluding to a lot with all the references to Advanced Warfare.
Yeah.
We've been in World War II. We've been in present time. We've been in future time. Now there's a lot of Call of Duty at this point has 3 sub-series. There's Advanced Warfare, which is probably going to get a sequel in 3 years.
Modern Warfare.
It has well, I think Modern Warfare's done.
So they moved on to Advanced Warfare. So
Ghosts.
they're not going to use ghosts.
No, Ghost.
I think they might make a Ghost too.
I think they're gonna do.
Ghost too?
I think they're gonna bring Modern Warfare back.
Modern Warfare 4?
Yeah, they're not
No,
gonna make
I think it's
Ghosts
gonna be like
The Modern Warfare?
the Modern Warfare Retribution. Like,
Yeah, there you go.
Could they use real ghosts? It'll be like Ghostbusters. It's like ghosts versus people.
how's that video
You
coming,
got me
Spool?
back.
Well, you
I'm
got to
back.
keep editing
I'm in.
there.
I'm with Spool on this one.
But it's kind of getting to the point now where there are 3 sub franchises under one big franchise, and then people are subscribing to them individually. I mean, they buy them all, of course, because they all say Call of Duty. But it's getting to the point now where the franchises themselves all have to kind of track what's popular. So even though they're separate, they all tend to converge. So you have Black Ops 2, which had near future stuff. You had Advanced Warfare, which was future stuff with a mech suit. Now you have Black Ops 3, which is like, oh, now you're a robot, I guess.
Well, do you think they're all converging?
No,
No, I don't think they're becoming the same thing in a plot sense, but thematically, I think.
Oh, okay.
So it's like robots are hot. We need robots. So even though you have different Call of Duties, technically
they made a very distinct call with Modern Warfare where they said basically, all right, we're going to the future. Like, there's really no going back. Like, Black Ops was kind of in the past, but like they just kept going forward. And then Black Ops 2 was like, fuck it, we're going to perfect dark times. Like,
there you go.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez. Oh my gosh, he's dead.
One more.
Also,
Oh, you killed him.
Yeah, forgive me for my lack of knowing how to play fighting games. I'm sure James is cringing.
Drop
at
those
this.
I
sick
just like
combos, dog.
I like the sound that a controller makes when someone's not.
I'm trying to do it under the
fighting game.
desk.
It's just-
Button mashing, yeah.
But you can just skip fights in this
that's
and just
narrative.
progress the story.
Boy,
Whatever.
look
No,
at
you're
that.
probably gonna fight him again.
Little sissy boy, Adam. Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm not very good at fighting games. I don't
Jump
know
out
why
of
I
this.
gave
Go to a
many-
tower. We don't want to spoil this plot.
Yeah,
plot.
yeah.
Plot? I'm just fighting Sub-Zero on a.
No,
is that a
this
blimp?
is the story mode.
We're talking about Mortal
It's a
Kombat
zero.
now. Yeah, so you're already spoiling it.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
But,
so,
yeah.
So you think thematically they're all going to be
Well,
robots?
I think it's more. I think it's more, no. I think it's more tied to what's hot.
Yeah, it's like
I
Power
think
Rangers.
Titanfall came out, and there's this new thing where they're like, hey, we can kind of supplement the basic strategy of running and shooting with new like attributes and skills, but we need an excuse for that. What's that excuse? Robot parts, or they're half robot people or robot like whatever. I think for some reason if it shifted and fantasy became, we'd see a Call of Duty where like he is the Dragonborn Call of Duty soldier.
That sounds awesome.
Well,
so wait, so what do you, do you think...
You think it's gonna be run down hallways?
No.
and-
Yeah, eventually they got to add mechs, right?
Oh, I think
Oh.
I don't know.
You think
I
they
think
would do that?
what happens
and
is you
claim they
can
invented them.
look to Call of Duty to see what's trending.
Yeah.
Because the franchise has been around long enough and is so it's annual now
Yeah.
that you can see once the three different franchises under the big franchise merge under a similar kind of genre and like tone and theme, that means that's what's hot.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think, because what you're saying is like trending robots and exoskeletons, all that. Yeah, that's sort of trending, but so is fantasy.
That's true.
I mean, like Game of Thrones and that, like that's all big right now too. So maybe Call of Duty.
Maybe it needs
Yeah,
to
right.
break into the first person format though. Like
Right,
if it's
no,
a
I
first
know.
person shooter thing, people want to feel like unstoppable, like super mechs, Edge of Tomorrow.
Well, that
style.
can happen, but
That'd be fun.
that can. The trick there is to just merge sci-fi and fantasy.
So
and that-
Destiny?
yeah, well, Destiny, exactly right. but
Activision's got that covered.
that may be also what's happening in Black Ops 3. If you're a super robot, maybe you throw like a hack bomb that's just a fireball that hurts people.
Hack bomb.
Yeah, or you like, I don't know, hack somebody's network, or you hack yourself.
Oh, damn it.
It's just hacking, really. Instead of call it magic, just call it hacking, and then
Or
you got your
I'm not
fantasy
good
in
at
there.
Or we're overthinking it, and it's just going to be Robot Man.
It'll probably just be.
I was saying,
robot.
like, look, if Treyarch's doing it, I was thinking this, I think we've talked about this before, but I was saying, like, it always blows my mind that Battlefield hasn't figured out single players yet, and they keep trying to copy Call of Duty.
Battlefield 4.
What?
I like Battlefield 4.
I don't like the, like, overly cinematic go through the game because it's not representative of Battlefield in any way. I was saying, why don't they just drop you in a giant battlefield
That's boring.
and make it open world and go, if you go to the left, that's a deathmatch. If you go to the middle, that's a rush game. If you go to the right, it's capture the flag or what's the other one?
I've never
understood.
understood
yeah.
your vision here because you're just talking about a really complicated menu.
What? No.
Wait,
No,
what?
no. I'm just saying it's a giant open world, and basically you can tackle this mission in any order. You can go through, as long as you complete 2 of these 3 objectives, and depending on which way you complete these and you win, the next part will unlock. You just go through like a branch, like a Star Fox. Basically, like you liberated this area. Moving on, choose left or right, and it's like you just
Oh,
go
I see
through.
what you're
You just
saying.
go through every multiplayer map, but it's just a bunch of shitty AI. That's like what's that called? Titanfall.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
And it teaches you how to play multiplayer, basically.
I would assume a lot of people enjoy the campaign
Yeah.
in Call of Duty, so like they probably want to.
Also, I-
Battlefield's always been chasing Call of Duty.
Well, I was like,
You put that out, everybody just be like, it's so lazy. They just put a bunch of shitty AI in a multiplayer map. You can call that a
It's like,
single
it's
player
like what they did with
campaign.
Titanfall.
I would
deal.
like them to merge open world-ish gameplay, like open world, and Call of Duty's linear path. Like sort of like you have a hub you can go through, but like you're basically like think of the first mission from Halo, the first real one when you land on Halo.
Huh?
And it's like you have these 3 things to do. You do them in any
I see
order
what you mean.
and figure it out. And you might not complete them all, but either way, the mission will, the whole game will end. And it's like, take that idea and expand on it. That's kind of what my hope is where Call of Duty will go.
Well, okay, that makes sense. I think that they could work if they do it in sort of the Activision style, because they know what they're doing when it comes to single player. They're one of the very few games that do over and over and over. Even though they're cheesy and dumb and the 5 hours or whatever, they're still fun.
Yeah,
they're still enjoyable to a lot of different people.
They also people complain about it, but it's the thing we always say. It's like a lot of people complain about Justin Bieber, and he's still really popular and rich. So turns out a lot of people just have opinions, and when you reach a certain height, a lot of people are gonna have like. You're almost in a better position that people have an opinion about you rather than not talk about you.
Yep. And eventually, I think they really are going to add mechs. I mean, like, Titanfall didn't steal it away from them. I think that they beat them to it. But I kind of think that they were always, like, you and I had a discussion of, like, what's his name? The head of Respawn. Zappella.
Oh, yeah.
He probably was at Activision saying, we're going to do mechs for the next Call of Duty. It's going to be fucking awesome. And they're like, you're crazy. We're not doing that. It has to be a dude shooting a gun. And he was like, all right, well, I'm going to leave and form Respawn and make this game. I think that's what happened. I think they sort of diverged on their views for Call of Duty. And so he made Titanfall. And eventually, Call of Duty's going to... They look like they're behind now. They look like they're sort of like... They're like, well, you're not doing mechs. You're only doing robot.
Well, we talked about Titanfall my opinion is I think it should transform into some sort of MOBA. Honestly, it's halfway there.
What, Titanfall?
Yeah.
Oh, like a first-person MOBA?
Because it's got
like Overwatch?
Yeah, I mean, you basically just create 3 lanes. You've got towers already, and you've got the creeps. And you're like, okay, and then take out the upgrade system and just make it a game base. And then you just unlock heroes and you just pay for skins.
Yeah,
well, so it's interesting that you say that. They are publicizing a different mode. It's just not MOBA. They're listing zombies as a 3rd mode right now. It's like it's single player, multiplayer, and zombies, and that's pretty interesting. Before it wasn't really publicized, but it was like single player, multiplayer, and Spec Ops. So it seems like zombies is their new like cooperative mode that they're apparently really trying to build out into what's like a something as meaningful as single player.
They tried the thing in Ghost, right? It was like aliens.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And that was sort of like, hey, look, we can do zombies too.
Tried. I appreciate that they tried.
And then Advanced Warfare was like, okay, we're just doing zombies.
Well, I think they already confirmed zombies for Black Ops 3. I thought.
Yeah, they definitely said it straight up.
Treyarch's the ones who invented that.
No, I know. So they're like, yeah, fuck it, we gotta do it.
And then like I said, this was from the description. They listed zombies on equal footing with single player and multiplayer. So it's pretty clear that they must see a lot of player engagement with that mode. It makes sense to me. Like, you buy Call of Duty and maybe you don't want to get shit rocked by 13-year-olds online. You play co-op survival, which they had in Advanced Warfare, and then they added in zombies later.
I love the one in, I think it was Black Ops 2, where you can play as like McNamara and like JFK.
Oh yeah.
That was so cool. Like, I'm going to kill you, zombies. Like, that's cool. that was my Nixon impression. Sorry.
What's the stone for?
Okay, he tore off his head.
And into the wall. That's what it's for.
I want to sit in a meeting with NetherRealm when they're like, all right, and they like map it out on a napkin where they talked about how they're going to kill this dude.
They've talked about that. Yeah, they have fatality meetings where they just throw around ideas. Pretty cool.
We have fatality meetings.
Yeah, we do.
We just don't make a game that they go into.
We actually kill people.
We just sit around and talk about how we killed people that.
So we know Adam wants Call of Duty,
and
we know Adam wants Call of Duty and all games to become MOBAs.
No.
James and Bruce.
I didn't want
all games.
Do you guys have specific wish lists for Call of Duty?
AI minions to kill.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be a MOBA, but I'll be damned if it doesn't. If it doesn't just
that's a bots.
We played Killing Floor.
Yeah.
And so I like the option to work as a team against AI opponents. I like the option to kill AI opponents to benefit my team if I am not the dude who's gonna go 30-0 on a team deathmatch. So I like having. We figured out that there are ways to play games and enjoy yourself in a team-based environment without necessarily getting all the kills. And I still feel like Call of Duty's basic game mode is just like whoever's the fastest, whoever plays the game the most is going to be the most beneficial member of their team. Kind of basketball mentality. If you have a LeBron James, you can possibly win a world championship. And it's like, well, what are the other 4 guys on the court for?
There's just too much shit though. Like every time we go to these like press conferences, and they're like, we've added so many crates and so many unlocks and scopes. I'm just like, I don't care. Like there's just too much. Like that's why I'm like actually really excited for Halo 5. It's just the simplicity of like, here's your weapons, figure it out. Like there's no leveling up. Here's your base moves. Like it's just simple. Just keep it simple. Make a good game and just make it work for everyone and balance it. Whereas like, well, if you use these 3 perks together and use your points on your gun and your knife, and I'm just like, I just don't. I don't know. Maybe it works for the Call of Duty people, but.
So you want it to be a simple MOBA. James wants support classes.
Look, I just want to play Smite. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oops. Oh.
Oopsies.
Oopsies. Oh, his tongue. Oh dear God.
Bruce, what are your dreams for Call of Duty?
Here. My dreams for Call of Duty are mechs. So they got it. I don't think Black Ops is going to do mechs, but I think the next one either has to do mechs, or why not do World at War II? Why not go? I mean, like, I think if Call of Duty wants to stay ahead of the game, which they don't, I think, like you said, they're sort of trending, but they're not. They don't want to take big, huge.
Yeah, there's no need to be progressive,
right? Then maybe go to another time in terms of warfare, like not World War II, but who knows?
Did I ever tell you my
medieval times? Maybe.
Well, I was gonna say, did I ever tell you my really, really stupid Call of Duty idea?
No.
Do you want to hear
Please
it?
Yes.
do.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I was gonna say, okay, so here we go. First level, you start as a caveman,
Ooh.
and it's basically 2001: A Space Odyssey style, where like you learn to use a weapon. So like you pick up a stick and you learn to like stab someone with it. Later, that becomes like a javelin or something like that. You basically go through history, and then you work your way up like through different time periods, and it jumps around. But it's a through line. So like basically takes you from early man to like, I don't know, 5,000 years in the future, where it's like almost like Warhammer, and it just gets insane. But there is a through line, and that way you can do some really interesting stuff with the storytelling. Because, like Call of Duty, the thing I really appreciate in Modern Warfare 2 is you were never really safe. So like you'd be playing as, I forget which one of you were, Roach or Ghost or whatever, and it's like, and they're like,
well, sorta.
Well, like
the named characters never really died. When you died, you were playing as like he had a name, but it was just like, I think you're a Marine now.
Well, I think we were like Roach or something like that. But I think it was so the first Modern Warfare. I remember.
Yeah, where you get hit with the nuke.
The nuke goes off, and it's like you're like, holy fuck, it just died.
Yeah, that was cool.
Like that was I like that idea, because all of a sudden now it's like no one is safe. You're not good. It could go either way. So I was like, they could really expand on that and do some crazy stuff, and you could be a 1970s SWAT cop. And you might die. Like, you don't know. I know, it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Go play Lords.
So, okay, so Adam, if I'm understanding correctly, you want a really simple Call of Duty where you die every level, and it's a MOBA.
Well, no, he wants it to progress through time.
Yeah.
So there'd be a caveman, and then
also
where
you're
would you
a
go
robot.
next? Romans?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Romans, you could be like in a gladiator fight?
Yep.
That'd be really cool. And that's how you learn to like throw stones or like use heavier weapons.
Yeah, use swords and stuff.
Yeah, and then you could be in the Civil War, like, and they're just like little vignettes, like little small levels.
Well, the interesting thing about Call of Duty, and I guess these larger franchises, that I don't know. It's easy for us to sit here on our little high horse and say what we can do, because if I was in charge of Call of Duty, I'd be like, fucking just make the futuristic thing again, because we're making millions of dollars. But they have an opportunity to do things that not most games do, which is change the landscape of gaming. So if Call of Duty decided to change it to an entirely different genre and did it well, they could change games for the next 5 years or 10 years.
So to that, I say Destiny. Right?
Yeah.
And so,
you're right.
so Bungie had that kind of leverage, and they were like, "Let's make a new fucking kind of game."
They did.
And people, I mean, it's
Well,
still.
a lot of people say it's a rip-off of Borderlands.
They immediately found things to compare it to how little the similarities were. They found things to complain about, no matter how nitpicky they were.
Right.
I don't think it really. As much as we're kind of deeper into it, so we hear the yelling more than I'm sure they heard it in the executive level, where everyone was getting their bonuses, except for that one that had to do with the Metacritic score. But
hey, the Metacritic was okay on it.
It was.
It hit the number that they were supposed to hit.
Like
they were expecting like 9 out of 10, and they're like 7. What the fuck?
And so I'm sure someone will bring that up in a meeting and say, well, when they tried something different, it didn't go over so well.
I'm curious if Activision has that same sort of deal that EA had years ago, where it's like they have to hit a Metacritic score in order to get their bonus, which is kind of bullshit, because it should really be reflected on sales.
Well, I mean, the bonuses are probably linked to both. Meaning, like, you probably get a bonus for sales, and probably get a bonus for Metacritic. So, like, that makes sense that they get both. I don't think it's just one or the other.
Because at this point, it's just like, it's like, Mississippi Monthly didn't like Destiny. Yeah. Damn it.
I'm just saying that is an example of exactly what you're talking about. They had an opportunity to try something new, trying to bring in a new thing, and it wasn't universally loved, which I think is by nature kind of a victory, because if it was just the same broad stroke
Yeah, no,
that had
you're
been
right.
painted before, like who would have cared?
Well, and Bungie worked, what, 10 years in the game?
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
Well, they said
Since-
they did. I don't know if they actually
I mean, it was on a
Some guy-
napkin
yeah,
for
some guy
7.
wrote Bungie.
Yeah.
I want to use this opportunity to speak out against a perception about anything artistic, and that there is virtue in, I guess, originality, which is true to a degree, but video games are commercial art. And what always drives me crazy is the notion, and I'm not saying that you guys were saying this, but I know someone on the internet has been this whole time.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Is the notion that they could have done something new and have a responsibility to do something new. That's not really the case. It's fine to produce art that is meant to be consumed.
They don't
and-
have a responsibility to do
Yeah,
that.
well,
Not
a lot
at
of
all.
people think that way.
Like they have a chance. I said they have a
Yeah.
chance. They have a chance.
Yeah.
You have the monetary means to make something that says something about the human condition, and shame on you for just making another shooty game.
Well, look, there are very few examples of this because it's very, very hard to do, but the Beatles is one of them. So the Beatles started with a really simple formula, knew how to do it well, and they became huge. But you know what they did? They changed the formula, but still made it consumable.
Started doing crazy amounts of drugs.
And
It's funny you bring up the Beatles. I was going to the grocery store the other morning, and they have like Sundays with the Beatles or Sunday breakfast Beatles, some radio station bullshit. It wasn't my car, so I didn't
Thought
have
this
my
was
music.
happening in the grocery store.
But they play that song back in the USSR, and they're like, a little bit of trivia for you. Ringo was out hanging out with Peter Sellers, so Paul McCartney did it. Isn't that crazy? And I'm like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, what?
But it made me think. I'm like, God, they sounded so different, and it sounded like
Oh yeah.
it sounded like the Kinks, or like it sounded very much of that time. And then yeah, you're right. And then later they were like, let's do some fucking crazy shit. And I was like, it's interesting to listen to their older stuff when it was very, I guess, commercial, right?
well, for the most part, like it was commercial.
Well, it wasn't. Sort of.
It was sort of at the
popular.
time.
They didn't know how to do any better. Like they,
Yeah.
despite what people say, the Beatles were not a great band when they started. They were just doing a bunch of covers of like 30s doo-wop and shit.
Right.
And they just lucked into a sound that drove people crazy because, there are sociology papers written about this. Like, America was like really sexually oppressed at the time, and they were exotic and foreign because they're from Britain. There's a lot of stuff written about Beatlemania. I think the thing is, like, once they got popular, it enabled them to have a certain kind of lifestyle where they went to India and just did acid all day.
Video games.
And then yeah, that empowered them to, that's interesting, the easy fatalities aren't there anymore.
Hold R2, stand mid, and hit triangle.
Triangle? Alright.
Yeah.
I
A
don't
little
think,
bit more mid. A little bit more mid.
I don't
Or did
think,
they? Oh, they took him away. Maybe.
I think you only get one every so often.
Oh.
So anyway, the Beatles.
Call of Duty's like the Beatles. Anyway.
But, well, not necessarily. Call of Duty will be like the Beatles if everyone that works on Call of Duty becomes so jaded with money and success that they decide to start experimenting for the sake of themselves.
Well,
And that probably won't happen because there's a lot of people involved.
that won't happen. But I mean, like,
Yeah,
but,
I think that describes id Software.
but well, I mean, like James describes Bungie.
man, they
like
made
Bungie
Rage.
made Halo. Everybody loved Halo.
I think that's a
and
good
then
way
they're
to
like,
put it,
you know
yeah.
what? Fuck it. We're gonna try and change a little bit. And they did, but they still made it consumable. That's the important part.
yeah.
That's the most important part of this whole thing that we're talking about. Is that they made it so they realized like they're not making art for art's sake. They're making art because they want people to try their art, and that's important. That they were like, we want as many people to enjoy our art as possible, and also making it original. That's the hardest thing in the world to do. Just so you're all aware that everybody's listening, it is literally the hardest thing in the world to do. And if you could all do it, everybody'd be millionaires.
That's
But they're
why.
not.
That's why Bloodborne is for dirty casuals.
That's why Bloodborne is
Because
for
they
dirty.
it took 4 games, but they finally got it
got
to
it
the point where
perfect.
it's super broad.
Absolutely perfect.
Super perfect.
Approachable,
for everybody.
perfect
approachable,
in every
perfect.
Are you just saying just to make Ian mad?
Game of the
No,
year.
I'm
In the case
just
that
no.
he's listening?
It's because I've actually played on my own Bloodborne,
Yeah.
which means it's a dirty casual
Oh,
game
okay.
now.
Yeah,
Because you
it
enjoy
is.
it.
I play once a day. I don't progress very far, but I'm still playing it.
Can I ask a Mortal Kombat related question?
Please do.
How do you power up your moves?
You hit guard right as they're coming out.
Okay, so R2 right at the time. That's what I was trying.
You don't hold it
wasn't-
down. You have to tap it.
It wasn't coming out. But and then the other question is, are there stage fatalities?
Yes. Yes, there are. Wait, I think.
I'm sure there are.
I'm pretty sure there are.
I can't wait to get my hands on Mortal Kombat
Right, yeah.
X.
We're playing Mortal Kombat. How about that?
Oh yes, we
are.
are.
So one thing that always strikes me about Mortal Kombat.
The
is that-
uppercuts.
yeah, the uppercuts.
I get
well,
it. Strikes you.
Basically, that's
OP.
Get it? Understand?
I get it.
Continue.
Mortal Kombat's one
When
of
are we
those-
going to talk about the movie?
Actually,
Exactly, School.
pretty shortly. Everyone's got that moment when they saw Mortal Kombat for the first time.
The movie or the game?
Either, just like the first fatality you ever saw.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine was my parents would go to this dollar theater every week because they were cheap, Rightfully so, by the way. Having kids is fucking expensive. But I remember they had little movie theater arcade, and I recall going into the theater and there was this huge crowd, and that never really happens. Usually I'm the only nerd in there, like watching more rich kids play video games. But there was this huge crowd, so I was like, what the fuck's going on? And I roll up, and this dude is on a Mortal Kombat 2 cabinet, which I was at the age where I didn't even know that game existed yet. So I was like, oh my fucking god. And everybody's rallied up around him because he's like one of the few dudes who actually knows the moves and all that stuff.
You said Mortal Kombat 2?
Mortal Kombat 2.
Yeah, I remember that being the more popular one at the arcade.
Yeah, oh yeah. It was a blow up.
Yeah.
But we were all gathered around. He was beasting with Liu Kang. And then he whips out that fatality where he turns into a dragon and bites bites the person in half. And the entire room just lit up. Just like people shouting, like waving their arms above their heads, guys ripping their clothes off, spitting everywhere. Very strange, but it was a very magical moment because that's one of those like you're in that moment of discovery with a lot of other people, and that doesn't really happen on the internet anymore.
That's
you know,
true,
when a game comes out, YouTube videos hit, and you watch it alone in your bedroom, you're like, that's cool. And then you scroll down the comments, people are like, that's cool.
How much did you lose your shit when you rented Dumb and Dumber and it had a trailer for a Mortal Kombat film, and you were like, I want to rent that movie again just so I can watch that trailer?
I can't remember when I first saw that trailer for that movie, but I'm sure I was really excited about it.
I had rented, my mom or someone rented Dumb and Dumber, and then I watched it like the next Saturday morning, and I saw the trailers on there, rode my bike down to my friend's house, who's also a Mortal Kombat fan, and we watched the trailer like 6 times in a row. And then we saw the movie, and I saw the movie like 8 times in a row.
The movie's fucking awesome.
The movie's great. I mean, it's horrible, but it's great.
Yeah, it's terrible, but it's really fun though. It's a fun movie to watch.
I mean, look, it was Christopher Lambert at his height.
That was
peak.
Was that his peak?
His peak.
Highlander 10 or something? I don't know. What else did he do?
Nothing.
He's just Highlander.
He got killed in the 3rd Highlander movie. Very sad.
Wait, there's only one. There can be only one though.
No, there's multiple.
There's so
There's
many.
multiple Highlanders.
Also,
Trust me.
they're not called Highlanders.
No, it's just the one. He's from the Highlands.
It's very
Oh, I get it.
confusing.
Now, to be fair, the other one,
Ghost Rider.
Connor.
Oh, the Ghost, of course.
Second one.
Connor
Of course,
McLeod.
Ghost Rider 2, who cares?
But the one thing we're not talking about is the Mortal Kombat, the animated series.
No, we're not talking about that.
I just want to talk about the GIF that James made where it's Jax trying to throw a rock against a door.
Oh, yeah.
Just look at there's a so like if you haven't seen it, there is a Street Fighter animated compilation where
beautiful.
it's just the worst thing in the world. I want to say Switcher made it.
I kind of hope. You know what? I hope in 40 years somebody makes that about the things that we've made, and it's equally funny and
It
sad.
won't be.
Yeah.
It'll be funnier.
Damn it.
It's just like the when Guile or whatever is like, get on the plane.
No, yeah, just get on the plane.
Like it's just some of the and it's like
That's from Street Fighter, but whatever.
that's the Street Fighter one. But someone made a similar compilation with the horrible Mortal Kombat animated series, where it's just like it's just the best. I don't know, for some reason people thought that'd be great. And then you were saying there was a live action
Oh, yeah.
series, which I need to watch.
It came on like daytime and the like Saturday,
Came
2
out of
p.m.
nowhere.
KDFI, like just the burial ground. So it covered the very first Kung Lao, which is like 800 years before the first Mortal Kombat tournament. And there are a number of scenes in which fights almost happen. Like basically once an episode, 2 dudes will be like, hey, what the fuck you say? And they'll like square off and then like some shitty techno will start playing.
Yeah.
And like everybody will like line up in a big circle and be like, oh shit, there's about to be a fight. And then like one guy will like lean back and then somebody will be like, holy shit, what's happening over there? There's a house on fire. And everybody just runs over there and a fight never happens.
There was a weird thing in the early to late 90s where any movie that was rated R got the okay for a Saturday morning kids cartoon. They're like, RoboCop, make it a kids show.
No. Rambo?
Also,
Good show.
they also sold toys
Yeah.
that were basically cap guns.
You're talking about RoboCop.
Yeah,
RoboCop.
you like put the caps in his back and he's like,
so
freeze.
they were flammable toys for a rated R movie.
Yeah, you put it in your mouth, you pull the trigger,
Yeah.
inhale all that smoke.
Yeah, they're like 6 and up.
It's like RoboCop
I
shooting you
mean,
right in
look,
the mouth.
Police Academy,
Oh,
a
God.
rated R adult comedy, had a cartoon.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was weird. And MC Hammer had like 6 other ones, and like same with Jim Carrey. It was weird.
So, James, what are your Mortal Kombat memories? Sleepovers?
My most
Who'd you sleep with?
My most popular Mortal Kombat memory for me is also Mortal Kombat 2.
Wait,
Going to an arcade that had the
Let me get CPU.
like yeah, I think you pick one and it'll just be C. It was riddled with the glitches. It was so what there were 3 versions I think of Mortal Kombat 2 in the arcade. And the first version, I think, was just, like, not unplayable, but that was just the first one that rolled out. Then there was version 2 and then version 3. Version 3 was basically all fixed, but version 2, you could play as Johnny Cage, right? You can do Johnny Cage's friendship over and over and over and over again in the same game, right? So you do it, you get to the end of the match, you start to do his friendship, which I think was back, low kick, right? And then it would start to do the animation or something, and then you could interrupt it with a babality.
Oh wow.
And then
What are you describing?
you would constantly keep doing the babality as long as you kept doing the inputs. The game would allow you to keep doing it, and the babality is just kind of like a nuke going off, right? And it just continue exploding. And we watched some guy do this, causing the explosion to happen
30 minutes.
for not 30 minutes, but like 2 minutes.
Oh my god.
Of just boom, 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 and then he ended it by doing the friendship again. So then the final result was Johnny Cage doing his friendship animation as the character was glitched to hell in the middle of the screen, and there was for no reason a baby Raiden below, like between his legs below him. And I was like, what is this? This is amazing.
And then you moved away from North Carolina and never went back.
Well, I thought it would be the kind of thing that I only ever experienced in this arcade, but when they re-released it, when they re-released Mortal Kombat 2, you can play in the different versions because I think it was a thing that a lot of people did in the arcades.
Wow.
But yeah, I was always baffled. Mortal Kombat for me is one of those things where it's pre-internet. So the dudes who would be there on day one that knew the fatalities.
Yeah, they were gods.
Who were? I would like to go back and interview these people.
How did they find out?
I need a time machine to go back in time to figure out how these people knew on day one to play the arcade games and do everything.
I remember
right.
spending like $9.50 on a stupid magazine because it was one of the ones that was in plastic, and I didn't want to have the guilt trip of opening it in the grocery store. And it was how to unlock Noob Saibot or whatever. Like in Mortal Kombat 3, they're like the unlock code inside. I'm like, here's the money. Like. I don't even own the game. My friend down the street has it, so... Because I wasn't allowed to play Mortal Kombat. I was actually banned from it.
I was also not allowed to play Mortal Kombat. I ended up playing it at a friend's house.
Yep, like everyone else.
Yeah, but I was not allowed to play it at my house. I think eventually I convinced my parents.
Everyone had weird parental rules, like... I couldn't watch Beavis and Butthead, I couldn't play Mortal Kombat, I could play Street Fighter, and I could watch The Simpsons. I had a friend who wasn't allowed to watch Simpsons.
I was not allowed to watch Simpsons.
That's so weird.
Want me to hit you with my number 2 Mortal Kombat memory?
Yes.
My mom, unlike your parents, pre-ordered Mortal Kombat
God damn it,
on the
so
Genesis,
cool.
on the Genesis for my brother and I.
She knew you guys would love it.
Well, we had explained to her that was the one that was going to have the blood in it. We explained that to her, and she was like, well, I guess that's the one you need. And so she...
Why is your mom so cool?
She pre-ordered it for us.
Damn it.
Is she like an abortion doctor? Like, what is she?
Crack dealer?
She's an awesome stay-at-home mom, but she went and picked it up during the day while we were at school, right? And she was like, I'll get there at 10. I'll get there when the store opens. I think she got it from Babbage's.
Nice.
I'll get there when the store opens, and then we're all like, I'll make sure you have it. And so, she basically. When I got home, it was already in this box because the pre-ordered version, they even had pre-order bonuses back then. The pre-ordered version of Mortal Kombat 1 for the Genesis came in a little cardboard box that had a T-shirt folded up into it. And she was like, "Here you go," to my brother and I, and then we bumped it in. And I don't think we ever played the game without blood because there's the blood code.
Well, of course not. Yeah.
We knew what the blood code was because of like Electronic Gaming Monthly or something.
Well, it's funny now. Like I was looking at, I forget which game it was. Maybe it was this one, or I think shit, I can't remember. But there's a lot of games where they have the option to turn the gore off. And I'm sorry. Oh yeah, I think it was playing Smite, and it was like, you can turn the gore off. I was like, it's funny that it went the other way. It used to be like you need the code to turn it on. Now they're like, we just have it. If you want to take it, I'm like, I love the world we live in. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank God we've progressed past that. Whereas like, the violence in video games was considered bad for some reason.
Can I X-ray? This is really freaking me out.
How do you X-ray?
Both triggers, right?
Yeah, both
That's what I thought. Yeah, I was trying it
both
earlier.
bumpers.
I did.
Well, so when do you
Try all four.
When do you press it?
Press and hold both.
What mode am I in right now?
When do you press it?
Tower.
When your meter's full on the bottom left.
Yeah.
Press and hold both.
For those who are listening and can't actually see our gameplay, we're playing Bloodborne.
Yep.
It's not X-raying though.
No, it sure isn't.
It's not. He would flash white.
I'm in some kind of weird mode.
No.
Yeah. I don't. Hey.
Next time play as a normal character.
Anyways, yeah, so Mortal Kombat.
I remember renting Mortal Kombat 2 on Super Nintendo.
I thought you were going to play the movie Armageddon.
No, well, I did that.
The only successor.
I did that too. Didn't turn out as well.
Mortal Kombat 2 was blue. It wasn't very good. And maybe it's because I was older.
The movie?
They killed off Johnny Cage in the very first scene.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. I just remember not liking that movie.
No, it's not good. Like, it's inferior in every single way to the to Mortal Kombat. You can go watch and be like, It's kind of cheesy, but it's kind of fun, and for Mortal Kombat, it's pretty good. But if you probably wouldn't be able to get through all of Annihilation.
Annihilation
It's
is
terrible.
amazingly awful. I recommend it actually.
They took all the best parts.
Because I saw
of
it,
Mortal Kombat
and I remember
movie.
not liking it.
Yeah.
And being really excited about it, too.
They kill off Johnny Cage in like the very first scene. They replaced Christopher Lambert with a different actor.
That's right. Yeah, I was like, where's Ring?
It's like
Lambert.
it's like wearing a shitty costume too. Like the props are all horrible. They had somehow got a smaller budget.
There's an extended scene where the two women. What is it? Is it Katana and Melina are fighting in the mud?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. There's a mud
Two
fighting
women fight,
scene.
yeah.
Well, they replaced Sonya Blade too, right? Or is she the same actress? Yeah, they just.
No, she's everyone that was good about
Like
the first Mortal Kombat
Liu
movie
Kang
was
is the only
replaced.
one who's the same, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Liu
Which is a
Kang.
bummer because I think he's pretty good cheesy action
Yeah,
star.
he's cool.
But yeah, like everyone else is completely different. And it's funny because the plot follows the game, which means it's even more cheesy. Because it basically goes into like Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 territory. But the best part, the shining moment, Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Are you going to play the game?
Yeah, I gotta look up the fatalities.
Hold on. Save your best part. Do the fatality, then tell us the best part.
Okay. Oh, I messed
far.
it up. Oh,
Ooh,
I fucked it up.
Good fatality.
Oh, damn it. All right,
Good
go ahead.
fatality.
The best part.
Somebody else one-ups. So, as we all know, Jax has robot arms.
Correct.
He had to get them to defend Earthrealm from the forces of Outworld.
Keep going.
You got it.
You don't even
You got it.
Keep a straight face. This is serious.
Might be.
got
I
it.
didn't know if it was
doing
Outrealm
it.
for a second. Yeah.
Whatever.
But you know what? At a certain point in the story, his metal arms are failing him. They're just not giving him the strength that he needs.
Is
Where's
this fan
Jax?
fiction that you've written?
So then he decides, you know what? Maybe the strength was inside me
Wait, is this
all
fan fiction you've written?
along.
Or is this something else you saw?
And in a moment of retribution, reaches up and tears his robot sleeves off.
Yeah.
Reveals that he's still super swole and does something requiring strength. I don't remember what, but does it even better without his robot sleeves.
This is in the movie?
That's in this movie. He just reaches up and like tears off these foam arms.
Also,
Are you kidding?
Also,
No.
That's really bad.
Also, Shao Kahn.
Oh yeah, it's just like a scrawny white.
No, he's
I
a
thought it was
big
Adam
bu- he-
Baldwin,
He's
right?
a big
Being that
buff
big.
dude, but just a bald guy. Like they do RoboCop syndrome, where he spends most of the movie with the Shao Kahn helmet off.
Yeah.
So it's just a bald guy. Like
Yeah.
it's pretty good.
There's a lot of like. Remember, Spawn did that for some reason.
Oh, yeah,
they were
that's
like,
right, yeah.
I was like, Spawn's so cool with his mask. Why do they keep showing his burnt face? This is so weird. And then like the movie Dredd, they're like, Dredd's so cool with his hat on,
They keep taking his helmet
but
off.
he keeps taking it off, and it's really defeating the purpose of Dredd.
Oh, you mean in the Stallone movie?
Yeah,
Yeah,
So it's fascinating. I saw that Dredd for the first time about a year ago.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And this is shortly after I started reading the Dredd comics because the 2012 movie was so fucking good.
Yeah.
But the interesting
And
thing
you're like,
is,
the original's got to be better.
well, no, I
You're
knew it was
wrong.
going to be awful.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's kind of fascinating to me because you can tell when that scene in the movie where Stallone takes his helmet off like in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's great.
The way the camera works, it's meant to be like, audience, that's right. We finally did it.
Yeah.
He looks like Stallone. And it's just like, God damn it.
Well,
What?
you
Well,
know,
he sold tickets at the time.
Sylvester Stallone didn't want to take the helmet off.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
He didn't want
they
to.
forced him.
Well, everything about that movie was like, we're gonna introduce so much cool shit into the world of Judge Dredd because like he has an evil twin brother who's played by Armand Assante.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
And like he goes out into the wilderness outside of Mega City 1 and finds himself and has like a
Schneider's
wisecracking
gonna be there.
sidekick and
Yeah.
Rob Schneider's there.
Man, I love that movie. I saw it in theaters. Paid good money.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh, I saw in theaters too.
Yeah, paid
were you
good money.
guys
Well,
like
this is-
into Judge Dredd at the time?
Well, this
No,
is
absolutely.
this is the
I just like
beauty.
Stallone.
This is the beauty of having your parents separate when you're 3. You get to have weekends with Dad, and when Dad don't give a fuck, you get to watch Beavis and Butthead and shitty movies like Dredd. And he's like, go hang out at the theater for like 3 hours. Who cares?
Dredd was PG-13.
You're gonna bang your
Yeah.
stepmom.
Judge Dredd was PG-13 because my dad took me to see it, and he wouldn't have taken me if it was rated R.
I like how Mortal Kombat talk just turned into mid-90s talk.
Well, it's because it's
Talking about
all
my
the
child.
same.
It's all the same.
Mortal Kombat is totally represents our childhood.
Absolutely.
Like it is 100% of like
And
that was a huge deal.
hold on, I'm gonna blow your mind. You know what Mortal Kombat's just like?
Was it just
The
like
Beatles.
The Beatles. And you know why? Because it's still around. It's still actually around and successful and doing like really cool new shit. Where when it really shouldn't be. You know, like Street Fighter is one of those
absolutely,
ones that like is sort of still around. Occasionally, Street Fighter 5 is coming out.
So
soon,
is
obviously,
this
but
Sergeant Pepper's or did John Lennon get his head blown off? Like which
This
one
is
is
after
this?
John Lennon got his head blown off.
Okay.
But they're still doing cool
this
shit.
one?
Like this is like Paul McCartney doing Wings. You know, like
The show?
Wings is a good. Yes, the show. Wings is a good band, and Mortal Kombat's a good game. So,
I don't really follow the Beatles, so I
Still
can't
back
really.
there.
I don't know.
All right, Adam. Here.
Oh yeah, I'll play the video game.
That's one of the things that occurred to me when I play this game. Is it still feels close to MK1, 2, and 3. It's still 2D. It's still pretty fast. You know, it switched over to 3D instead of digitized actors. But Mortal Kombat had its phase where it tried to go 2.5D. It didn't. I didn't think it worked out that well. I like Deadly Alliance okay, but it's just interesting that the core part of the game hasn't changed much. It just looks really good, and there's more of it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that it's DLC, bro.
You have to buy it?
You gotta
It's
pre-order.
DLC, bro. I was just thinking, like, it's like Mortal Kombat X, and it's coming out, and I'm excited for it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for Mortal Kombat again. All right, and it makes you feel like the game went through a lull, but it never really. Nothing it ever did ever went through a lull. Like, it went through a strange period where it was trying new things, but I was like, I own Deadly Alliance. And I'm pretty sure I owned Armageddon. Like, I owned a lot of those other middle tier.
They went through that weird phase with like, was it Special Forces and like
sure.
the Sub-Zero Chronicles or whatever.
The mythologies.
I actually like Sub-Zero
But
mythology.
the Shaolin Monks, by all accounts, I never played it, but everyone said it was a lot of fun.
It was a really good beat 'em up.
Yeah, they said it was like an awesome beat 'em up, and it was kind of weird because like I feel uncomfortable that they're just throwing around the Mortal Kombat license, but it was by all accounts a good game.
Yeah.
And there was a weird period where they were like, all right, we're teaming up with DC. DC and Mortal Kombat are in the same universe.
Was that when? That's when NetherRealm got acquired by Warner Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
R1 had 'em.
But the thing
R1.
is,
R1.
even in that situation, it ended up resulting in one of the best like superhero fighting games, if not the best superhero fighting game of all time, which is Injustice. Like, oh, that's a bold statement given all the Marvel vs. Capcom games. But like Injustice is by far the best DC.
That's fair.
Best DC fighting game ever made, and
Justice
it's
League,
really
blah,
good.
blah, 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 on Super Nintendo, who cares?
Yeah.
I think that game was garbage, right?
Yeah, it was bad.
So
really
it's
the only other one I can think
It
of.
is interesting how there have been these periods where like they shouldn't be doing good things. They're doing good.
They still
like,
are.
These games are still good.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat's one of the few franchises that's
I was
still
just-
around.
well, it's
that's
funny-
doing cool shit.
Well, also Ed Boon's always a part of it, and I'm just wondering, like, does he go home and like just go, I'm so fucking tired.
I
Combat.
just want to stop.
I don't think he
think
just
so
really
either.
loves it.
I think
he really
he's,
likes it a lot.
Yeah, he just likes the game. He likes the community. I guess that's. I like to make far-reaching philosophical statements about everything, but
Including Mortal Kombat.
yeah, well, I think the continued success and the continued enjoyment of Mortal Kombat points to a certain thing about the nature of games and the nature of movies and the nature of all art, which is that if it's good, it doesn't matter when it comes out or what it looks like. It will still resonate with people.
Just like Christopher Lambert.
Exactly.
Just like Christopher Lambert.
Just like the Highlander. There's this weird thing, like the people that get super into games always like to talk about games progressing, like getting better, but they don't really get better unless you're talking about the sheer number of pixels on screen, and even that can be argued that it's objectively better. It's just, time passes, things change, people try new ideas, but the core of it still works because it worked back then and it still works now.
Well, sort of like Smash Brothers. Remember, there was the Do You Know Gaming I was watching, and they were like, every Smash Brothers since the one in the N64 has been at 60 frames a second and performs a certain way. And I was like, it's kind of nice that games can last as long and just kind of maintain their spirituality, whatever. Christopher Lambert, R.I.P. But wait, what?
I didn't know.
Was that his?
Yeah, he's French. Shut up.
I think he's from Brussels.
No, he's very French.
Is he French?
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
He was in
later.
early Luc Besson movies.
I'm gonna go to IMDb and read the trivia.
Subway. Go watch that and tell me what it's about. You won't be able to.
Lockout?
Yeah, that's a good
We
movie.
saw Lockout.
Yeah,
Lockout's
we did.
great.
It was a great movie.
No, it wasn't great. You guys are wrong.
Best movie of the year,
Yeah,
Academy
real
Award.
bad.
Haven't seen it, but
Real bad.
It
the
was.
sound of it.
There's a space prison.
It's good in a Mortal Kombat sort of way.
Lockout's the movie that really pissed me off because when I was in college, a friend and I came up with an idea for a movie called Moon Prison.
Ooh.
And it was about this guy. The president went to go visit the Moon Prison, but the warden turned on him.
Uh-oh.
And so he was.
We're talking about the Moon President or the Earth
So
President?
they had to send an ex-marine in. He was the only person who could infiltrate the Moon Prison, under the guidance of Vice President Macho Man Randy Savage.
Were you making Idiocracy?
And he had to. This is pre-Idiocracy, and he had to infiltrate it without the Moon Warden catching on, played by C. Thomas Howell.
Perfect.
So it was going to be pretty solid.
So what happened to your Hollywood
How do I
career?
do X-ray?
Lockout came out.
Both triggers.
Oh, that's
Both
right.
shoulders buttons.
Both shoulder buttons or
Both
triggers?
triggers. Oh, you missed.
I couldn't
Sorry,
figure it
bro.
out. Is this guy like new Striker?
Yeah,
He's a Mortal Kombat comic book character who's
Yeah.
finally making his debut in the game.
Good for him.
He's basically the dude from Dark Tower.
his moveset,
yeah.
his moveset does seem a little similar to Striker, just because he has guns, but...
That's all I was
And
thinking.
he's got bombs, too, little sand bombs. So yeah, I think you're right.
Wow.
My favorite thing.
I mean, also don't tease me with Dark Tower. I saw another post today where they're like, Sony confirms Dark Tower is still a thing. I'm like, please just stop.
Have you read all Dark Tower?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
I have to.
I did the first book, and then it just didn't grab me.
Really?
So I was like, I'm
They're
not
all-
gonna-
they're
first
all
book's
so
gonna
good.
keep going.
They're all stylistically pretty different. Like
Yeah,
the
they
first
are.
book is a
Of
pretty
course.
straight Western. So your second book drawing of the three? Or is that the third?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Either way.
Second one
see-
has Eddie in it. Everyone likes Eddie.
Actually, I mean, yeah, we were talking about comparing stuff to the Beatles, and then comparing things to like Stephen King's really interesting too, where he just tries anything and everything.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Very prolific.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a good. If anyone's looking for kind of two entirely different books, but are both pretty cool and take place in the same universe, Dark Tower 1 and 2. The difference is like,
Oh, yeah, you're right.
is like holy shit.
Well, they were
It's
also
amazing.
written decades apart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he rewrote Gunslinger like completely to make
Yeah.
it more fitting. Oh, that's
Either way,
gross.
that's pretty amazing.
All right, so we got a little bit of time left.
Okay.
Call this
Oh,
the
man.
bonus round.
Bonus round, ding ding ding.
We talked about this a little bit before, but it's time to bring it back in all its creamy glory. Have you ever jacked off with another man in the room?
What
What
the
is it-
hell?
how is this
How did
related to
that
anything?
question come up?
This is
Bonus
just
round.
like the Beatles.
This again.
It's just like
Classic
the
Beatles.
I said we said it before, Spool.
No.
No, the answer is no. Right?
I was trying to come up with a situation where like camp or I was stuck in a submarine. Like,
What about a public bathroom? There might have been a guy in the stall.
I don't think I mean, the only time
Oh, wait,
that
that's
it,
a good question.
there would have been a chance would have been if it were like, I guess, in the dorm, but I don't think I
Or
ever
like a
did.
hotel room when they're passed out or something.
Okay, yeah. On
I
their
don't
face.
think I don't think I've ever done that.
we were, I mean, like I said, growing up, we had bush porn. You know, you find.
Yeah, straight 70s, like.
Oh, like you find it in the bushes.
Yeah, you find it in the bushes.
Oh.
No. Every kid found. Everyone had the cooler of porn somewhere, right?
Cooler?
Well, we had a cooler. So the house I grew up in across the street was all being developed, and it was taking years to develop. So we always just called it the desert, and it was just basically
The Jack box.
there
Jack
was,
in the box.
Well, so
Jerking off.
it,
I'm in the corner of the lot.
it
jerking
was
off.
it was a lot of wilderness, but it was all like
It's my coming tree. I come on that tree.
I don't know. So we'd go over there, and we found a bush, and we're like, there's a cooler in there. We're like, what's in the cooler? There's a lot of pornographic magazines, and we're like,
What else?
that was it, really.
Hold on, I have a good
I mean,
story.
so-
Did you grow
That's
up in the
enough.
city from Sling Blade?
I have a
No, it's like this place up north.
yeah, it's only about 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
I have
Cerritos.
I have a good story about how I found my porn. I used to have obviously an old station wagon, just like everybody else did when they were 16.
Nope, hatchback.
And what happened was I had a tape player in that thing, right? So
Wow.
I remember.
Better not be audio only porn.
No, I used to. I wish. So that's really cool.
What are those sounds?
I needed a tape case because I had a lot of tapes for my, I love music and I love tapes.
Oh,
so,
sure,
so I found a tape case that was sitting in a Carl's Jr. parking lot. It was huge. It held like, I've never seen a tape case like this before, ever. And I still haven't seen one. It held like 60 tapes. And I was like, holy shit, this is the coolest thing in the world. And I opened it up and it was totally empty. And I was like, perfect, I put all my tapes in here. And I noticed there was this little section underneath the spot where the tapes would lie. And so I picked that tray up and I went, oh my gosh. And there was a Playboy
Nice.
underneath
Whoa.
the tape. It was amazing. It had everything. And then a tape case and a Playboy. And I threw it in the back of my station wagon and the rest is history.
Do you
Here
remember?
we are now.
Yeah, you drove here for your job
I drove
interview.
here, yeah.
Do you remember specifically the year and month of that Playboy?
Oh no, I absolutely
Damn
don't.
it.
No, they had some pages stuck together, and I tried to
Yeah.
avoid those pages because that's disgusting.
But that's where the good shit is.
Also, I was really like, even when I was like 16 or 17, and figuring out how to masturbate. I mean, like I figured out earlier on.
you need help?
I was always confused as to why you would jerk off into a magazine. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I think
Why
it's
would you
just
ever
there.
do that?
It's on your lap and your dick's right there. So.
That's so fucking lazy. Get some Kleenex or something.
Oh, I agree. Guys are.
Socks, I mean, toilets. right there.
Savages.
Yeah, what? That's gross. Why would you ever do that?
My friends and I would actually trade PowerPoint porn. So to hide internet porn, you know, like so some kids would hide it on floppy drives, but that's too obvious.
Come on.
You can't hide it in the folder.
Come on.
And so we would make projects that were basically slideshows. So you'd go like, this is way before video, but there would be like a chronological story of like, the two girls are just hanging out in the library, and like, what do you? Oh, did you drop a book? And like, it was a photo set. Like maybe they still exist somewhere in internet land, but like, and then like, it was not that easy to find free porn. So like, you'd have to use your dad's login or something like that. But we would trade it in like, here's the homework file, and you'd be like, PowerPoint, doing PowerPoint, and then you do like 2 or 3 like false pages of like the history of Sri Lanka. The history. Okay, mom's gone. Okay, now let's look at porn.
It's on the top of a tree. That's where.
It's Sri Lanka. That's where the
Nice.
hobbits live.
What's their name? We're thinking of them.
Ewoks.
No. The Disney family.
The Wookiees.
No.
Robinson Crusoe.
Robinson Crusoe.
Look, you guys are making fun of me for being smart. We were trying to jerk off to PowerPoints.
I mean, hiding it inside a PowerPoint, that's pretty ingenious.
So you'd have to scroll down a few slides, and then eventually it would be there?
Why is there a timer on the crypt? That's
cool.
scary.
Where'd you find your porn?
Now you just slack it to each other.
Like
his mom bought it for him.
My dad did buy me Playboys.
Your parents are so fucking cool.
Well, here's the thing. Sable, the WWE original WWE diva, was in a porn magazine.
And your dad?
My dad was like, I'll get you that one.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
You had the best childhood. You got Mortal Kombat and porn for every birthday.
I had parents who were very, very, very open with me to do like you figure it out, right? And here I am.
Do they do ecstasy with you?
No. No drugs, no alcohol.
No drugs or alcohol.
They didn't have rules, but they weren't like here. They didn't say here, do these drugs, or here, drink this alcohol.
Really?
So
that's weird.
Sorry.
Inject this in your arm.
Parents should be doing that.
They should have.
Missed
opportunities.
Yeah, handing you shrooms.
But other than that, I don't know. I didn't really get my hands on a lot of porn until the internet.
Well, yeah, I think the same as most people.
Yeah.
Well, listener, if maybe your life hasn't turned out as idyllic as James Willem's, blame your parents because they didn't buy you porn or Mortal Kombat.
Violent video games.
Man, that sounds awesome.
So, we are at the conclusion of this podcast. I encourage you to run up to your parents and blame them for everything that happened in your life.
No, don't do that.
Give them a kiss and say,
don't tell them Funhaus.
Yeah,
don't tell them Funhaus told you to do that. That's a bad idea.
Well, don't tell them that we said do that, but definitely do it anyway. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with more masturbation talk.
Nope.
Yes, we will.
Please ask a different question next week.
Follow up.
I'm not going to. Thank you, guys. Ooh, a new fatality like that.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you. See you on the spot.
The kids that we want to talk to are telling each other to play our game, so we should just let them do that, maybe enable them. Whereas I'm not sure Nintendo is in that mind space. I'm sure they're more like, you know what, we do a fucking good job selling Pokemon every year.
Right, they don't need to be in that mindset.
So why would we let Angry Joe try to do it?
Ubisoft, hire us to do your next press conference.
Well, I guess
Who cares? The game's coming out.
Joe the cool guy.
Far Cry.
That's what I'm saying. Though. I always see the potential, and if for example, I think if they would just sort of let it happen, I think they might see even bigger returns. And a perfect example of that is